In a world dominated by the tangible, many often overlook the profound impact that physical actions can have on our spiritual lives. The intertwining of the seen and unseen realms is vividly illustrated in biblical narratives, particularly through the story of Moses and the Amalekites. This account not only sheds light on the necessity of obedience, but also reveals the unseen battles that unfold when we engage in fasting and prayer. The Battle of Moses, a lesson in obedience. In Exodus 17, we see a pivotal moment during the battle against the Amalekites. God commanded Moses to raise his hands toward heaven. As long as Moses maintained this physical posture, Israel triumphed. This remarkable narrative demonstrates that physical obedience can catalyze spiritual victory. When Moses obeyed, he activated divine forces that changed the course of the battle. Conversely, when his hands fell, the tides turned against him. This principle holds a crucial truth. Our physical actions can indeed influence the unseen spiritual realm. Fasting, a physical act with spiritual implications. Fasting is one of the most profound physical actions we can undertake in our spiritual lives. It is not merely an exercise in self-discipline, it is a deliberate choice to disconnect from earthly desires and reconnect with God. As seen in the life of Daniel, who abstained from rich foods for 3 weeks, fasting can draw us closer to God and increase his favor in our lives. When Daniel sought the Lord, he was met by an angel who acknowledged him as greatly beloved. This affirmation serves as a reminder that when we prioritize our relationship with God through fasting and prayer, we align ourselves with his divine purpose and favor. The sacrifices we make can lead to extraordinary spiritual rewards. The role of angels in our spiritual battles. Scripture reveals that angels are actively involved in our spiritual battles, often dispatched in response to our prayers. In Daniel 10, we learn that while Daniel was fasting, he faced spiritual opposition from a powerful demonic force. It was only after 21 days of earnest prayer and fasting that the archangel Michael was sent to assist. This narrative illustrates a critical truth. Our prayers, coupled with physical acts of obedience, can release angelic intervention in our lives. Overcoming unbelief and disconnect is essential in our spiritual journey. Jesus emphasized the necessity of prayer and fasting when his disciples struggled to cast out demons. He pointed out their unbelief and worldly distractions, which hindered their connection to divine power. To combat this, fasting and prayer serve as tools to reconnect us to God while disentangling us from the clutches of worldly concerns. The divine exchange sacrifice for favor is a profound concept. There exists a distinction between God's unconditional love and his favor, which often requires a response from us. God's love is unwavering and unearned, while his favor is intricately tied to our actions, especially our obedience and sacrifices. Just as Daniel's choice to forego desirable foods made him greatly desired by God, our willingness to sacrifice can draw us closer to his favor and blessings. Embracing higher levels of spiritual warfare can be daunting. The adage "higher levels, higher devils" can sometimes instill fear of spiritual warfare. Yet, this should not deter us. In fact, with higher spiritual assignments come greater angelic protection and assistance. As we pursue deeper relationships with God, we can trust that he will fortify us with the strength and protection we need. In conclusion, a call to action is before us. As we reflect on the power of fasting and prayer, let us embrace the call to physical obedience. It's not merely about the act itself, but the heart behind it, a desire to align ourselves with God's will and purpose. The unseen world is responsive to our actions. When we commit to fasting and prayer, we engage in a dynamic exchange that can transform our lives and circumstances. So if you're feeling disconnected or overwhelmed, consider stepping into a season of fasting and prayer. It could be the key to unlocking spiritual breakthroughs, divine favor, and the release of God's supernatural power in your life. As you engage in these practices, remember, your physical obedience can lead to profound spiritual victories. Thanks for watching, and remember to like, subscribe, and share.